And you're on the leader in pure classic country, 98.7 and AM 1580 WLIJ. The NASCAR Championship weekend is finally here for the stars of the NASCAR Cup Series. Coming up this Sunday afternoon at 1 here on the Motor Racing Network on WLIJ. And we are here with MRN's Jeff Striegle, who, of course, is nearing the close of a long, studded career, over 27 years on MRN. Jeff, what are some of your favorite memories over all this time? There's got to be so many to choose from.
Yeah, and it's impossible to choose just one as a plane flies over my head here in Arizona. It's hard to pick just one, Brandon. It really is. It's been an amazing career. Taken me places and afforded me opportunities that, obviously I would never have dreamed possible. But, you look at Daytona 500 finishes and some of the closest races in history. We just had one of those at Kansas just a couple of months ago. And obviously wrapping up in Homestead Miami Speedway back when they had Ford Championship weekend and calling the champions to the line, and going to be able to do that one more time here on Sunday in Phoenix.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've had plenty of time to think about your favorite moments, as I'm sure that you've had a lot of different interviews about this very subject. But I can't help think, but it all started with you for public address. Of course, you had your racing career in the 80s, but public address at Berlin Raceway, and now here you are as the general manager of the place there near your Michigan home, and a place you love dearly and has had a lot of success here in just recent years. With your leadership, do you look forward in any way of having that as more of the focus coming after this year?
I'm going to need it, Brandon. I'm going to need that focus because, I know I'm going to miss being on the road with my away from home family. Dave Moody, Mike Bagley, Alex Hayden, Rusty Wallace, and Todd Gordon, just to name a few. I spend more time with these guys over the course of a year than I do, practically with my family back home. So I know that when they're getting ready to go to Daytona in February, and I'm not, I'm going to need a passion and a drive and a focus. And Berlin does offer that for me. So I've been there this will be my 5th year, doing it basically on a part-time basis when I'm, just when I'm happen to be home. And now I will be home full-time, and I can devote all of my time and attention to the track, and I'm looking forward to it.
All the best for Berlin Raceway going forward, and would like to make my way up there to Michigan one of these days. So we've got a big championship weekend, of course. That's kind of what we're here for. And the 4 drivers at hand. We start with Joey Logano, 1 of 2 for Team Penske, of course, looking for his 3rd title. His short track stuff has been pretty good this year, Jeff, and he also keeps his every other year streak alive, coming into his 6th playoffs. If you ask me, I'd say he's always there when it counts.
He is always there when it counts. You're exactly right. And I think he's going to be there when it counts come Sunday late in that race. You haven't asked me yet, but I think that the 2 Team Penske drivers, and we'll break down Ryan in a minute, are going to be the 2 drivers of the 4 to beat. There's just something about Joey at this time of year. There's something about Team Penske at this time of the year. They just build all year long. They don't start off well. They don't even run the middle of the season very well. But by the time you get to the 3/4 mark of the season, those are the drivers. That's the organization that we're talking about. And, to have 2 of their drivers in the Final 4, the Championship 4, is remarkable. And I do think that Joey and Ryan are going to be the 2 that are going to contend when it comes right down to the checkered flag. There's something about Joey this time of the year, and he's tough to beat.
That's exactly right. They play the cards exactly right with this championship format. They know what they're getting into as soon as they unload the hauler there in Daytona, so they know what they're getting into. You mentioned Team Penske, Ryan Blaney, he is the next one. And it's such a special championship, too, because Ryan Blaney is looking to be the first to go back-to-back in this playoff format. How impressive was his dogfight at Martinsville just a weekend ago to charge up the front? Just unbelievable.
Yeah, it really was. And I think, I just said that Joey's going to be tough to beat. I think if anybody's going to beat him, it is going to be Ryan. And Ryan, like you said, is trying to do something that hasn't been done in this format and go back to back. The reason I give Ryan a bit of an advantage over his teammate Joey Logano is just because Ryan seems to run Phoenix better and I'm not a big fan of going back and looking at history because you just don't know. But if you do look at history, the advantage would go to Ryan Blaney over Joey and Tyler and William Byron. So he's going to be, if they unload well, and we'll know here in just a little while, if they unload well, practice well, qualify well, I would expect him to more than likely be the guy that's holding the trophy at the end of the day.
Yeah, looking forward to practice later on today in Avondale. Let's turn now to our regular series champion, Tyler Reddick, there with 23-11. Of course, they haven't gone through anything at all controversial this year, but
Exactly.
first time for Tyler in the Cup Series championship. How do you think he will fare in his first go at it? Of course, he's got to shut out the noise, but also remember back to his back-to-back Xfinity Series championships in 18 and 19. No stranger to the championship four in that respect.
Well, I think if we were racing where he won his Xfinity Series championship, I think we'd have a different conversation. He's so good at Homestead, Miami Speedway, where we used to crown the champion, but we're not doing that now. So for Tyler Reddick, I think if we had this conversation in August, I would say he is hands down the driver that is going to win the championship. They were red hot in the middle of the season. You want to be good now, not then. I mean, you go back and compare them to Blaney and Logano, and they were not good in the middle of the season, but they're good now when it counts. Tyler had a great season. You can't take anything away from what they did to get here, but I don't know that, the second we say we don't know if we can count on him being there at the end, we go back to last year. Again, I break the history book out. He finished first in stage 1 and stage 2 here a year ago. He's going to need to do that and then some to beat the Team Penske duo. They have not been good of late. As far as consistency is concerned, is concerning to me. So they're good. There's no doubt. I mean, you're never going to count out a Toyota. You're never going to count out a Tyler Reddick because when you need the driver to get up on the wheel, and we saw that at Homestead, he's the guy you want to count on. But I just don't know if Sunday is going to be his day.
That's good insight there. And yeah, waving the banner for TRD this weekend at Phoenix. And now we go to the one waving for the bow ties, William Byron. And by the slimmest of margins, he's here. And of course, not without controversy as well, decided at the last moment. How much of an advantage will Willie B carry to Avondale, do you think, with a team as storied as Hendrick Motorsports in their 40th anniversary, able to put all their chips into one car?
So if we talk about Tyler being so good in the middle of the season, we have to talk about William being so good at the beginning of the season. He was red hot when they unloaded at Daytona, and they were winning on a consistent basis and really stacking up good top 5 and top 10 finishes. But that came to a stop, and his consistency really began to fail. They were not as good as what they were in the beginning of the year. You point out Hendrick Motorsports. He's a part of that big 4-car mega team. You know that every resource that they have available is going into that team and into that car, and William is certainly somebody that's capable of driving it right straight to the front. Do I see that happening? Again, I'm going to come back and say I think this is going to be one of the best races we've seen all year. I think the 4 of them run right together for the majority of that race. But I just don't necessarily see it just because of the 2 Team Penske cars there. So you've got 4 great cars there, Brandon. I think at the end of the day, the edge goes to Team Penske, but only slightly.
Yeah, it's possible history making just about everywhere you look there for Championship Sunday. I can't wait for it, and of course can't wait for the end of a wonderful career for you, my friend. And you said on X just a while ago, you were asked all the time, what will you miss the most? You said, my answer is always the same. These guys, your family there at MRN. Saw the picture there of you in the boat with all the guys, and you were the one wearing the Yacht Rock captain's hat. I got to ask, was that party specifically for you, or was that your boat?
No, it was not our boat. We rented it, and all of the team. In fact, Mike Bagley just walked down. He's standing with me, my brother from another mother, my dear friend. No, they bought that. We were loading up the boat, the rental boat, and Alex Hayden came out and said, I bought you something for today, and handed me the captain's hat and said, you drive. So, yeah,
That's
it was
awesome.
just an opportunity for everybody to come out, and we all had a chance to spend some time together on the boat, out in the desert, which is absolutely spectacular. And you're right, though. And, that's what I said. The one thing that I'm going to miss the most is these guys and gals that I've been with for 27 years.
Yeah, that's really special there, and I know you're going to enjoy every moment of this weekend. I certainly hope you do. 312 laps to decide the NASCAR Cup Series Championship this Sunday afternoon at 1, right here with the Motor Racing Network on WLIJ. Mr. Jeff Striegle, I can say for everyone in the NASCAR nation, you will be greatly missed, and we thank you for all your years of service.
I appreciate it. And before I go, thank you to the race fans that tune into your station every single week and call your station home for NASCAR. We appreciate you. We appreciate the fans, and for you guys being a longtime affiliate. So thank you very much.
4 drivers, but only one NASCAR Cup Series champion. It's the NASCAR Cup Series Championship this Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. from Phoenix Raceway with the Motor Racing Network on WLIJ. Listen anywhere you go on the free WLIJ 98.7 mobile app and on WLIJradio.com.